What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing part of a very dominant run I had in the Spring Cup, which includes a 12-game win streak, my longest streak of the season so far, getting me up to 2451 elo with Shadow Crawdaunt, which isn't bad considering in yesterday's video I believe I started at like 1960 elo, so I have gained a lot of elo very quickly. Now another thing that I do want to point out is that I actually started with a negative set with this team where I really should have won at least 2 of the 3 games that I lost, but it was a new team, I wasn't really used to how these Pokemon play together, and I stuck with it, and in the end it paid off big time. Now I was able to pull off some crazy comebacks over and over again against teams that really should just hard counter me. So with that being said, let's just get straight into the question of the day. What is your longest win streak both this season and all time? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. I was heading into the first battle I did with this team. I'm leading Shadow Marwell into Whimsicott, so this is a positive matchup for me. The opponent save swapped into Lapras, and I'm going to respond with my Greninja. Now, this should be a very positive matchup for me. I should resist all of the charge moves unless they are running Skull Bash. However, I haven't seen very many Lapras at all running Skull Bash in this meta, so I farm up 2 back-to-back Night Slashes there. The opponent does actually farm up to the potential Skull Bash, but I'm going to no-shield, and it is the Skull Bash. What am I doing? I should have just played it safe. I didn't want to use the shield there because I realized Greninja is just completely useless up against a Whimsicott, so might as well save my shield, but it backfires, and now I am just going into panic mode here. I shield up a Sparkling Aria. I don't even commit to a farm down. Like, what on earth is going on right now? This game, I'm just in shambles. This is the first battle I did today, so I will sort of excuse myself there, but either way, it's not looking too good for us, and they've actually got Jellicent in the back, so if I maintained alignment, this was a very, very easy win for me, but I've thrown it all away. So at this point, I'm going to shield up the Surf here. I am now going to overfarm. The opponent's still able to reach another charge move though. The opponent goes for Surf. It gets the KO there, and I can farm up a lot of energy on my Crawdaunt, but it just doesn't really matter. Unless I get a boost here, this will be game over. Night Slash does not get the boost. There's nothing I can do anymore. So at this point, I'm waiting for the opponent to just fully farm me down. However, they're going to go for the BM, going for a Hurricane, and that easily takes out the Crawdaunt, and I do lose that game. But GG to opponent there into the next battle, and I promise it does get better, but into the next battle, not a great lead for me. I'm going to be safe swapping into my Greninja, and the opponent is going to go straight for an Acid Spray. So Acid Spray, of course, I'm going to drop my defense. This will guarantee alignment for the opponent, but they will need to use a shield because Greninja, incredibly spammy. I can reach 3 Night Slashes before they fully Poison Jab farm me down. So we go for Night Slash, number 2, get them fairly low, and a Night Slash from this range probably does get the KO, so I'm expecting a shield, and I do get a shield. Now at this point, I'm going to wait out my switch clock, come in with my Shadow Marwell. Of course, I am on Astonish rather than Fire Fang. Astonish is just a better generalized move, but of course, it's not going to be as good into Grass-type Pokemon. But either way, I feel like with Fire Fang, you are incredibly RPS, and I don't really want that from this team. I want some flexibility. We're now going to come in with the Shadow Crawdaunt. I'm going all the way up to the Scald here. Scald is going to grab the final shield from the opponent. The opponent is going to now swap and make a catch. They catch into Decidueye, so I'm actually going to undercharge the Night Slash here and stop attacking. I need farm on my Shadow Marwell. We get the farm down before they reach a charge move, and the opponent making a huge mistake here. It looks like they're throwing a charge move. They should just be committing to a full Mud Slap farm down. So I go for a Power Punch here. Can I reach an Iron Head before they farm me down? The answer is going to be yes, because the opponent throws another charge move. They need to commit to that Mud Slap farm down. They're at another Body Slam, but because they threw 2 moves, I'm able to reach the Iron Head. It's resisted, but I'm boosted. I'm able to take out the Gastrodon, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG to opponent there into the next battle, another Mud Slapper in the lead. So I'm going to say swap into my Greninja, and the opponent is going to swap into Cradilly. So not ideal, but honestly, I should be quite far ahead on energy. I might be able to grab a shield here. You can see Hydro Cannon does just under 50% HP. However, if they let this go through, I can shield and farm them down. So the opponent does end up shielding, and Greninja is so glassy that actually, even if they just go for a Rock Tomb here, Rock Tomb does get the KO. So at this point, I'm happy with that shield advantage. I can come back in with my Shadow Marwell, and I will commit to a full Astonish farm down. The opponent fires off the Rock Tomb once again, and this is actually just going to allow me to get even more farm than before. I am debuffed though, so I will swap out straight away into my Shadow Crawdaunt, and the opponent is going to wait out the switch, so come back in with the Barbaracle, and then swap into Hisuian Electrode, and we are just fully hard counted in this matchup, but we are going to shield up the Swift there. I'm now going to fire off a Night Slash, and I should be able to go for 1 Snarl, and then fire off a second Night Slash here before they reach the next Swift, and we also get the boost. It's not going to help me out in this matchup because the opponent will just be shielding shielding anyways, but we put them into range where a power-up punch very comfortably gets the KO. We win CMP in this matchup. Power-up punch takes them out there, and of course, we also boost up our attack here. I'm going to overfarm as much as possible. A boosted Iron Head is going to be neutral, and it gets the KO up against the Barbarical. And despite the Mud Slapper in the lead, once again, I'm able to take that game. So, GG top end there into the next battle, and another Mud Slapper in the lead, of course. Shadow Marwal with Fire Fang is a very common lead in this meta, so it does make a lot of sense to see Gastrodon and other Mud Slappers in the lead. But either way, we're going to swap into Greninja, and I will say I've seen this team like 4 or 5 times actually, so definitely watch out for it. I don't know who made this team here, but either way, it does make a lot of sense considering the early meta. But we are going to shield up the foul play here. I'm now going to overfarm, fire off a Night Slash on the CMP tie here. Night Slash, even resisted, will be enough damage to get the KO, and it does take them out. So now we're going to fire off a Hydro Cannon into the Gastrodon coming back in. Hydro Cannon is going to be no shielded. It does big damage in this matchup. And at this point, I'm going to come in with my Crawdaunt, and the opponent swaps out straight away into a Shadow Marwal. I can go straight for the Scald here. Scald is going to grab the final shield from the opponent, and I also drop their attack. Now, I should be able to live a Power Punch. However, I'm going to shield anyways, play it safe here. And now I can reach a Scald up against this Marwal. Unfortunately, can't really overfarm by much here. So Scald, gonna get the KO. The opponent comes back in with the Gastrodon, and I swap into my Marwal, hoping that the opponent would go for a Body Slam there, but the opponent is not on Earth Power, it's a Water Pulse, but they barely hang on with 1 HP and a Dream. They come out with the Body Slam loaded. Body Slam takes out my Shadow Crawdaunt, and unfortunately I do lose that game. But GG's to opponent there, and this is where the win streak does start. I don't think I did include all of the battles in the win streak because some of them were just pretty comfortable wins for me. But either way, into the first battle, we see a Cradillion in the lead, I believe that was. We're going to go for an Iron Head, and the opponent is going to shield. I'm then going to swap, catch the move here. I do expect the opponent to bait anyways, but I would rather take a Drill Run on my Greninja than on my Shadow Marwal. So at this point, I'm going to throw on the CMP tire. We're already debuffed, so Night Slash is really not going to do too much damage here, and the opponent is going to no shield. And at this point, I'm going to shield this. Drill Run probably won't take me out, but they bait again with another Icy Wind. They come back in with Cradilly. This is okay with me, but I am double debuffed, so Hydro Cannon really doesn't do much damage whatsoever, and the opponent, I believe, has farmed up 2 back-to-back charge moves. At this point, Rock Tomb will be taking out the Greninja. We can come back in with the Shadow Marwal. There's no point going for a Power Punch straight away because it won't actually take them out there, so might as well just save up. I'm going to throw on the CMP tie here. I am debuffed, but I'm hoping Power Punch should still be enough damage to get the KO. But it actually doesn't. They live with 1 HP and a Dream again, and that is super, super frustrating. Rock Tomb, I'm just going to fully let the Marwal go down, come in with my Shadow Crawdaunt, and the opponent comes in with a Fire Fang Marwal, and I'm going to hold onto the energy, expecting the opponent to try and make a catch, and that is absolutely huge for me. And that farm up to 100 energy. Night Slash gets the KO there. I can now go for 1 Snarl. Try to go for the Scald, but the opponent does actually go for a Power-Up Punch here, and this is going to be a little bit tricky for me. Even though Fire Fang is resisted damage, it is starting to chunk, so we are going to go for the Scald, and Scald drops their attack. I'm able to lift the Fire Fang damage, reach a second Scald, and Scald is enough damage to take out the Shadow Marwal, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top end there into the next battle, see a Jellicent in the lead. So this is a great matchup for the entire team, but I will be swapping out into my Greninja, trying to catch a Surf. It doesn't work out for me, but the opponent comes in with Galarian Weezing. And actually, this is a fine matchup for me, especially so far ahead on energy. And the opponent is going to throw straight away here. They actually don't go on good timing, instead throwing the Sludge immediately, and which means I can now go for 1 Water Shuriken, fire off a Night Slash, and if they shield this, I get the boost, and I can go for another Night Slash. A Night Slash will definitely get the KO from this range, and I realize at this point I can just shield this and go for a full Water Shuriken farm down. So I'm going to shield the Sludge. All shields are now down on the opponent's end. I'm going to wait to see what comes in, and it's a Serperior. So this is great for me. We can go for the Night Slash. That does big damage, and I can reach a second Night Slash here before they fully farm me down. Night Slash actually gets the KO up against Serperior. I'm not going to swap out here. Instead, going to allow them to farm me down. We come in with the Marwal. I didn't expect them to throw straight away, so this allows me to reach an Iron Head. It does big damage there. Well, not that much damage, but either way, we put them into range where a single Snarl will easily take out the Jellicent, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top end there into next battle. We see Marwar into Galarian Weezing. So this is an okay matchup for me. Of course, it is going to be very bait dependent here. Power Up Punch and Sludge are going to be resisted, whereas the Overheat and the Iron Head will be enough damage to get the KO. The opponent does bait there, which is a bit unfortunate for me. I'm now going to throw on poor timing, but I didn't want to allow them to reach an Overheat before I even throw a single charge move. So at this point, I'm now going to shield, respect the damage, and they full send the Overheat. And at this point, I'm also thinking I can now swap out and catch the next Overheat onto my Greninja. They're already debuffed. This is resisted. It's non-stab. It doesn't do much damage, and they actually allow me to fully farm them down. They're now going to come in with a Mantine. I'm going for one Water Shuriken, going straight for Night Sash here. Night Sash, not going to do too much damage up against the very bulky Mantine. However, I can spam these Night Sashes, and I will force the opponent to throw their energy pretty much straight away here. So the opponent does actually throw it on very good timing just before I reach a third Night Sash. Aerial Ace gets the KO there. I'm now going to wait out my switch clock here. I'm going to come in with my Marwar, and I haven't seen many Mantine on Water Pulse, so this should be a pretty decent matchup for me. But just to play it safe, I'm going to swap, catch the Charge Move here. I don't expect an Aerial Ace. The opponent goes for an Ice Beam, which is resisted damage, and they come in with Levani, but I am resisting the Shadow Claw damage. I'm going straight for Night Slash here. Night Slash is going to do big damage, and if the opponent tries to commit to a farm down or farm up to back-to-back charge moves, it's not going to work out for them because Night Slash gets the KO, 2 more Snarls, takes out the Mantine, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's up in there into next battle. We see another Gastrodon in the lead. So once again, gonna say swap into my Greninja. The opponent tries to catch a charge move there onto their Klefki, but that's absolutely fine with me. At this point, I'm recognizing it's probably going to be the same team that I've already seen here with a Shadow Marwar or regular Marwar in the back. So I'm going to let this move go through. I should still be able to reach back-to-back Hydro Cannons here. So Hydro Cannon number 2 is going to grab the final shield from the opponent, and I reach a third Hydro Cannon before they fully farm me down, which gets them into range. Well, actually, I might as well just come in with my Crawdaunt here. I'm realizing if it is Marwar and Gastrodon as their other 2 Pokemon, might as well get a huge energy advantage going into that matchup. So the opponent going to come back in with the Gastrodon. I'm going straight for Scald here. And Scald, of course, all shields are down. Going to do big damage, and it drops their attack. But I'm still just going to play it safe anyways. Use my final shield here. The opponent swaps into Shadow Marwar, maybe expecting me to swap into my own Marwar to go for a fast move farm down, and it backfires. Scald gets the KO. Now I can swap into my Marwar, go for the Astonish farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into next battle, see a Tentacruel in the lead. So this is a positive matchup for me because I am on Astonish. Now, of course, my charge moves are resisted. Even if I was running like Play Rough, that would also be resisted. But either way, I'm going to shield. They actually go for an Acid Spray there, which is okay with me, I guess. It's not really helping them out that much because these Poison Jabs, they're still resisted, so they're not adding up that much either. I can now fire off a Power Up Punch. Honestly, I probably would have preferred if I did it the other way around, but either way, we are going to grab a shield, and this is just going to be another Acid Spray. So I'm going to no-shield this, I'm going to swap into Greninja, and the opponent comes in with Amoonguss. Now, honestly, this isn't that bad of a matchup for me, but I'm going to farm up, throw on the CMP type with a potential Grass Knot. Night Slash, not going to be shielded. I do have a Night Slash already loaded, however, I realize I'm not going to get the KO with a single Night Slash. So at this point, I'm going to wait up my switch, come in with the Shadow Crawdaunt, and again, Night Slash will not get the KO from this range, so no point throwing straight away. Instead, I'm going to massively overfarm. The opponent does bait with a Foul Play before swapping into a Shadow Cacturn. So I'm going for a Night Slash bait here. Night Slash grabs the final shield from the opponent, and I now can go for a Scald here. And Scald is going to do huge resisted damage. We get the Snarl farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent is going to come back in with the Amoonguss. I can go straight for a Night Slash here. Night Slash will be enough damage to get the KO there. And now I can just come in with my Marwar, go for the full Astonish farm down, taking out that Tentacruel, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up on there into the next battle, another Jellicent in the lead. So again, fine matchup for me, but I will be swapping into Greninja, and this time I am able to successfully catch a Surf onto the Greninja. So of course, that is for resisted damage. We also bait out a Ferrothorn, which is fine with me. I'm going to fire off the Night Slash on the Simpitai here, and the opponent does throw immediately, so that's fine with me. Night Slash, not going to do too much damage, but they do expend their energy as soon as possible. So at this point, I'm going to let Greninja go down, come back in with my Marwar, and I might as well go for a Power Up Punch straight away. Power Up Punch, not going to do much damage here, and technically I could throw another Power Punch here on CMP, winning CMP and get the KO. But instead, I'm actually going to overfarm here, shield up the Thunder, and go for a full Astonish farm down. Now, I am boosted. These Astonishes are really chunky up against the Jellicents. I'm just going to go for the Iron Head here. Iron Head does get the KO, and the opponent's final Pokemon is a Cradilly. Now, we are, of course, down a shield, but I've got an energy advantage, and this is a good matchup for me. So, I'm going to fire off these Power Punches as soon as possible. Power Punch number 2. Going to be no shield as the opponent does realize, of course, if I go for an Iron Head, that would do a ton of damage. But at this point, it's kind of doesn't really matter at this point because now I can just overfarm, throw on the CMP tie here. Power Punch is going to grab the final shield from the opponent, and the opponent does throw immediately, which means I can come in with my Crawdaunt and then just go straight for a Night Slash here. Technically, Crawdaunt probably could just go for a full Snarl farm down, but I'm not taking any risks. I'm going straight for Night Slash. Night Slash will be enough damage to take out Cradilly, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up in there into the next battle. We see Marwile into a Shadow Galarian Weezing. So, once again, a bit of an awkward matchup for both of us, as a bait would be, well, just not do an awful lot of damage whatsoever. However, if the opponent does full send the nuke and I no shield, that puts me at a huge disadvantage. But the opponent swaps. They go to catch the resisted move onto Ferrothorn. I hold onto the energy so I can go for a power-up punch. However, this isn't really that ideal for me. So, I'm going to go for the boosted Iron Head. This is resisted damage. However, Iron Head does do respectable damage, but I cannot afford to double shield here, so I'm gonna let the Marwile go down. They go for a Flash Cannon. We come in with Greninja. I was hoping to get the farm down, but I'm just barely not able to do so. But actually, I realized they're at 1 HP. Night Slash KOs through the shield, and they've got a Water Gun Lapras in the back. What on earth is this? We're now gonna go straight for the Night Slash here. Night Slash is gonna be no shielded, and now I'm swapping into my Shadow Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt has a lot more fast move pressure with these Snarls. I realize the opponent probably going to try and snipe with that Weezing, so I blind throw the Scald here. The opponent does swap back into Weezing, and Scald gets the KO. The opponent probably expecting to catch a Night Slash, and as a result, that's going to be game over. Night Slash doesn't quite get the KO, but one more Snarl takes out the Lapras, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's up in there into the next battle. See Shadow Marwile into Gastrodon once again. So, I really need to find out whose team this is. But either way, we're going to swap into Greninja, and they swap out straight away into Klefki this time around, which is absolutely fine with me. I can go straight for the Hydro Cannon here. Hydro Cannon is going to be no shielded by the opponent. I can now overfarm by one Water Shuriken. Go for the Night Slash. Night Slash going to be shielded by the opponent. And I'm definitely going to shield here as I can reach another Night Slash before they do reach another foul play. And now I'm going to overfarm here, throw the Night Slash on the CMP tie. Night Slash easily will get the KO from this range, and they do just let it go. But we get a boost. I'm now going to go for a Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon should be grabbing a shield at this point since I am boosted. And now I swap into my Shadow Crawdaunt. At this point, I'm going to shield here. The opponent is going to go for a Body Slam bait, but that's okay with me. I'm going to fire off the Scald on the CMP tie here. Scald is going to get the KO up against the Gastrodon. They come in with another Fire Fang Marwile. This time it is a non-shadow, so Scald might not be quite enough damage to get the KO, but it puts them into farm down range for either of my Pokemon in the back. The opponent does reach a Power Punch. Power Punch gets the KO, but one Astonish gets the farm down, so the opponent just concedes the match. So, GG's took opponent there into the final battle of this video, leading into Bibarel. So, of course, this is a really bad matchup for me since I am on Astonish. I'm going to swap into Greninja, and the bad matchups just continue as we're met with a Tropius. But Greninja incredibly spammy here. I'm realizing maybe if I shield once, I can grab a shield back from the opponent. So, I probably would rather that. So, we are now going to overfarm, fire off a Night Slash once we reach back-to-back Night Slashes here. Night Slash number 2 puts them into range where honestly a third Night Slash might get the KO. So, I should be able to grab a shield here. Night Slash does grab a shield, and at this point I'm pretty happy with that from Greninja, so I'm gonna let the Leaf Blade take us out there. We can come back in with the Marwile. They will be able to reach a last second Leaf Blade, but that's okay, it is resisted damage. At this point, of course, I'm gonna no shield. We are now gonna swap straight away into Crawdaunt, and the opponent's gonna have a Ferrothorn in the back, so definitely not ideal for me, but we're gonna go and fire off the Night Slash straight away, and Night Slash gets the boost. That is absolutely huge for me. I'm definitely gonna shield now as the opponent fires off the Power Whip. I'm going to farm up to very close to back-to-back Night Slashes, and Night Slash, now we're boosted, is actually going to take them out there, but they come back in with Bibarel, and at this point, I'm thinking, oh, what do I do here? If I stay in and try to reach another charge move, the opponent probably just commits to a full farm down, or they throw just before I reach the next Night Slash, so I swap into my Marwile, but the opponent is happy to just overfarm now, farming up too close to back-to-back charge moves. They go for a Surf. Surf gets the KO there. Actually, they do have back-to-back Surfs, and of course, even though it is resisted damage, Surf easily easily takes us out, and unfortunately the win streak ends there. So that's gonna be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.